Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. We are here today to go to P Valley. Let's go down in the valley where the girls get naked. All right, let's talk about it. I didn't talk about the first one because I was not feeling the first one, you guys. I'm sorry, it just wasn't. It didn't give at all. This one was better. It had some moments, but it was better. I ain't gonna totally shit on it, but it was better. I was very much so entertained, and I was feeling like I was back at the pank for real. Okay, so let's get started. All right, y'all. So we starting off with the tryouts. You remember last episode? Haley said, "Okay, we gonna have some tryouts." Mercedes was mad about it, but ain't nothing she could do about it. So we start out with the girls lined up, and on the other side of the street is where the sweepers, the ladies who are auditioning to be sweepers are. And we see Big Al walking up in his little pimp gear and everything. And he stops at this girl and he's like, "Oh, you might as well head on over there to where the sweepers are." And she's like, "You got me all the way fucked up if you think I'm finna go over there." And we see that it's Wanda from Snowfall. Y'all, she's a great actress and just hood, just very hood. She does the hood very well. I want to say I saw her in something else recently where she wasn't completely hood, but she does the hood very well. All right, so outside, Big Al finds somebody that is his favorite. He's like, "Give me your name, give me your number." She said they call her Big Bone. And he's like, "Meet Big Al." So she's in the tryout line too as well. So we get to the tryouts and we have Uncle Clifford, Mercedes, and Haley up there, being the judges, of course, seeing who's gonna go through. We got all kind of madness. They setting things on fire, putting stuff down they throats. We got somebody with a basketball with her legs behind her. I mean, it's just too much. Then we get Miss what she say her name was Big Bone. Yeah, she can't get up on the pole. she Big Bone. She can't get up on the pole. But then we get this other lady that comes. All right, so the next girl that came up, and when I tell y'all she had me scared, she was flipping on that pole. She was like very aggressive. She's very aggressive, but she was hitting it, and Uncle Clifford was like, "Ooh, bitch, who gonna beat her?" Then we have Wanda. Her name ain't Wanda. We gonna learn her name, but Wanda from Snowfall comes up, and she is just as aggressive, and she's all over the pole doing her thing too. So both of them got Mercedes a little shook. So we see Mercedes looking a little shook, and she's kind of thinking about how they gonna be in the club with her. And I'm like, yeah, they gonna take a little bit of your money, ma'am, because they were no joke. All right, so let me tell y'all what's wrong with Starz. What's wrong with Starz and the app is the fact that you can't skip the intro. I'm sorry, I know we love the song. One, two, break them. Three, we love all that, but I don't want to hear it every time. I'm sorry. I don't. I would like the option of skipping the intro, and I just don't have that. That's all right, though. So we are picking the girls, and of course, y'all know those two girls, they in. Let's see what their names are. Okay, the one with the white hair, her name is Whisper, and Wanda, her name is Roulette. So she told them to come up there and touch the pole, and Wanda got an attitude because she thought she was gonna be called first. Oh, I'm not gonna call her Wanda. Roulette got an attitude because she thought she was gonna be called first. And can I also add that whoever is doing the dancing for them, I feel like Roulette, Wanda, whatever her real name is, she is not a dancer in real life. So there has to be like a stunt double or a body stripper or something like a body stripper, a stripper double or something like that because they did a good job though. Like you can't even tell that that's not her. It really looks like her. But anyway, she just got an attitude problem. She goes up there, she touched the pole. The other girl is really happy. And before Mercedes can call out the third person, Haley comes up and says it's going to Big Bone. And Mercedes is like, she can't even get on a pole. Haley's like, well, she got a big, you know what, and all the men love it, so you got to find something for her to do. So Mercedes is upset about that. She is just really upset that Haley is calling all the shots. All right, so it's settled that Big Bone is going to be behind the bar. And it's so funny because they were walking back to the office, and Big Al comes in and he's like, "Hey, boss." And him and Haley, Uncle Clifford and Haley both turned around and said, "Yes." I'm like, "Oh, okay, they both the boss." That's going to be a huge issue here. So we see Corbin, and I think it's Andre with him or whatever. So long story short about this, they're trying to, of course, buy the pink out or whatever. They're not selling. Corbin is, outside of himself because he is not acting at all like he did last season. Now he is acting like his brothers. And yeah, it's going to be a no for them. They are not selling the pink. So yeah, I can't remember the girl's name. The one that was the stripper that's with the white guy, or whatever. I can't remember her name offhand, and I don't think they said it right here. So y'all know who I'm talking about, though. They at her house, sitting on the porch with the sheriff, trying to get him to arrest Diamond. Sheriff is like, nah, we arrested, if we arrest Diamond, then we gotta arrest you too. So, boyfriend's mad, talking to the girl about what she's doing and everything. She's not doing the internet thing, or she's not doing porn or something she told me she's not doing. But she is, she got a manager, she's an influencer, she got a car and everything. So, yeah, she just got a terrible home life. And I feel like we spending a whole lot of time on her home life. Stuff that I don't really care too much about. So back at the pink, we have Mercedes on the pole showing the women, how to do it. She got her legs wide open and she's just like pushing them open, pushing them open. She's like, everybody think it's so easy. This ain't easy. And as she's coming down, she didn't fall, but she hurt herself. And you could tell that her shoulder was hurting. And the girl whisper was like, dang, I felt that in my shoulder. And what's her name? Roulette was like, dang, Big Ma, I can go over to CVS or no, she said 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven and get you some of that green alcohol. So she tell them she's pissed, of course, Mercedes, because why you calling her old like that? So she go over talking to Big Al, and she's like, did she just insinuate that I'm a grandmama or that I'm old? He like, well, so he's putting in some brass bars and poles and everything. And Mercedes said they good, but she prefer a wobbly, just regular old pole. Nah, that ain't what Haley wants. So the consensus is that everybody is pretty much mad at Autumn because Autumn is just like taking over and they not used to change, pretty much. So as we're putting Corbin and Andre out, Uncle Clifford tell him, don't let the dough hit you with a good Lord split you. And then he look at Corbin and say, well, oh, you know what? I know how you like to get spanked, so let it do what it do. Y'all remember he used to come last season and let people beat up on him. He liked that stuff. So he says, well, happy birthday or something. Oh, no. Uncle Clifford says, our re grand opening, and he's like, Friday, tomorrow? No, it's supposed to be next week. So Corbin is like, oh, that's a great way to celebrate your birthday. So Autumn is like, your birthday's tomorrow? Don't worry about his birthday. So he's pissed off. He go in the office. She follows behind him, and she's like, okay, if you don't want to do it on your birthday. He's like, I don't care about my birthday. The point is, we're not ready. We're just not ready to do this. And she's like, listen, it's going to happen. We got to start making money or else we going to have to take them up on their offer. So if that ain't what you want to do. So he starts snapping off like, I know you came in real slick and you finessed your way to being the owner, but you still not the boss. And I'm like, how does that work? She's the owner, but not the boss? And they arguing about who's going to be the DJ. She says, let Big Al be the DJ. And then she said, matter of fact, let you be the DJ because you ain't doing nothing else. You can't run this club. So he's pissed. And then he's finna leave. And Mercedes coming in like, who approved this? He points at her. And she's like, why are you trying to open on his birthday? And Autumn is like, is there some kind of Google calendar I'm supposed to have or something about his birthday? So Uncle Clifford storms off. He is pissed. Then we see the commercial. Where the blessings reside, where the blessings reside, where the blessings reside. And it's Mercedes' mom. And she done made a whole song about coming where the blessings reside. Lord, to her stolen church, right? And then we see that it's Uncle Clifford's grandma. She turns the TV off and she's like, how this hoe became a pastor, I'll never know. So he's storming the house, throwing keys, taking off stuff, and just like whining. She's like, what this bitch done did now? He's like, oh, she got me messed up. She made the reopening tomorrow. His grandma say, on your birthday? I'm like, if one more person say something about this man's birthday, everybody remembers Uncle Clifford's birthday like that. Really? He's like, I don't care about that, but I'm not going. I won't be there. This crazy lady says, okay, well, good. Then we can maybe have a Zoom with all your ace boom cooms in the boom boom room. I'm like, Lord. He said, no, no, we're not doing any of that. And then he stands there and he gets all emotional because he is still about to, he's about to be 40, still living with his grandma, and he ain't had no dick in like 5 months. He storms off crying. Yeah, so the grandma say 5 months. She ain't had none in 15 years. She ain't got no sympathy for him. And just as she goes switch seats or whatever, sit on the couch. And again, I just love her. I love her. She makes everything that she's in better. Loretta Devine. And I mean, just the way she sit down all country, like with her legs wide open, she pulling the pants up and everything. So somebody knocks at the door and she's like, Clifford. And then she's like, nigga, you still crying? You done crying? He's like, no. So she got to go answer the door. So grandma is super happy to hear that it's Lil Murda. And she tell him, Lil Murda, take that shit off your face. Come up here and give me a hug. He said he was trying to, social distance and keep his, be respectful. She's like, nah. So he come up to the door and we see Uncle Clifford, I guess, heard his voice. And he's hiding behind the door. However, y'all, come on. And I want to be with it because I love the love story. I do. However, Uncle Clifford's behind the door and there's a long mirror there right in front of him or on the side of him. So Lil Murda can see that Uncle Clifford's behind the door and not really fooling with him. So he gets really sad and he's talking about how he just came to give him a message and everything because he ain't really been answering him and he wish he would have done things differently. And I'm just like, so we see Uncle Clifford turn his head over to the right, so you can see that you are in the you are in the mirror. And the way that it was set up, if Lil Murda was standing right there too, you could definitely see that he's looking at you. Like y'all would be looking dead at each other. So that part so phony, but I mean, again, the love story, very sweet. Okay, he didn't know you was behind the door. You saw him behind the door. So when he says goodbye, he ends up, he does a little knock on the door, and he walks away. So grandma's like, you talking about you ain't had no dick in 5 months? Amazon just delivered it right to your door. All right, we just gonna zoom right past this part. Andre is back at the house, getting out the car, and he's talking to his wife, who he don't give a shit about, and he's like giving her all these excuses why he has to stay there longer. And I'm like, girl, dude, just tell her that you're not about her. You don't want to be with her anymore, really. And he sees all these water hoses and connectors, and it's coming from his house, going to all these different places. He go over and talk to these guys, and the guy pull a gun, and he's like telling them that the uncle, was it his uncle, godfather, whoever, the mayor, used to pay their water bill. So he would let them kind of siphon off of him. And when Andre get back to the house, he sees that his uncle was paying $10,000 for water every month. So he was basically, I'm like, are they really trying to make him nice now? Now that he's gone, he's no longer in it. Now he was just great. So whatever for that. But yeah, he was paying everybody's water bill. Miss Mississippi, that's her name. And no, they still haven't said it yet. I just looked at her and it came to me. But we're back at her house again. And the boyfriend finds the diapers that she put in like the little diaper hamper. It ain't a diaper genie, but she hid it. Because last episode, everybody was trying to figure out what was she doing? Like, what did that mean? She was putting stuff in there, and they never really explained it. Well, explanation is she was hiding them so she could act like she had no more diapers and had to go to the dollar store to see Diamond. So the boyfriend figures that out. She ends up asking, how'd you know I went to the dollar store? Oh, I'm tracking you. Yeah, I'm tracking you. So she tells him about, trying to go on tour. He, of course, is like, no. And yeah, I just want to finish up with them. So anyway, long story short, they, later on, he's like, have your manager come over. Manager comes over, talks to him. She's going to end up going on tour with him. When she's talking to the manager, she's like, listen, what's the money coming out of for the hotel and all this stuff up front? Coming out of my fees? Well, it's not going to be worth it for me. So the manager went in the car and he was upset. Oh, Sorry, I'm all over the place, but let's backtrack to the fact that Lil Murder went and picked up he went and picked up a friend that was getting out of jail, and he looked, he seemed like he was happy to see him, but he also seemed like something could be up with him, like he's trouble, and I think Lil Murder is trying not to be in that kind of trouble no more. So they're all in the back of this hearse or whatever, and her manager is telling uh Lil Murder and them that she tripping and the boyfriend's tripping, and the boyfriend's talking about how Lil Murder look at her, and I'm like, no he don't. Trust me, no he don't. It's the manager you need to think about. So she, he's all upset because it seemed like she was giving him pushback, but then he gets a text from her like, thanks, I'll take it from here. So he looks out the window, she comes to the door, and he's just giving her this look, and I'm like, oh, that's about to be a thing. That's about to be a thing. So long story short, at the end, she ends up going on tour, and it's looking like they trying to make it seem like she running from him, like she's not coming back. But I'm like, she's not gonna leave her kids. I mean, that's just the way that it played out. The way, I don't know, but I don't think she's gonna leave her kids. All right, so back at the Pink, it's showtime. It's time for the re grand opening, and they getting it in. So we go back where the girls are, and they getting ready. And Whisper is doing this whole thing with the necklace, and if it moves and all that. She got these contacts in her eyes, looking. She's just a little weird, but a little supernatural, something like that. So Haley comes in, Autumn comes in, tell them get ready, get on the floor, let's go. And Mercedes sits down. She lets her know, it's looking good out there. You'll have a bigger cut. So I guess that makes Mercedes happy. She looks and she sees all this green alcohol. And she's like, these little hoes got me fucked up. Then we back at Uncle Clifford's, and he got his little cupcake, and he just scrolling through everything. He sees where Lil Murda is going on tour, and he's like, ooh wee. So we got the grandma telling him to come take the garbage out. I already took it out. Well, you ain't take out the recycling. So he's like, fine. Then it was a little scary because, she's blind and the curtain's open, and, they making it seem like something's outside. So I'm like, what's going on? We ain't supposed to be scared here. But he goes out to take the recycling, and these four people in scream masks attack him. Well, not attack him. They do attack him. They grab him, put duct tape on his mouth, put him in the trunk, and they're taking him somewhere. And I'm like panicking. I'm like, oh my God, Uncle Clifford. Oh my God. So ends up they take him to a skating rink or whatever. Surprise birthday party. He's having a really good time until he stops and thinks about Lil Murda. And this guy walks past. I actually thought it was Lil Murda. He had a mask on, and he looked like him to me. But Uncle Clifford ended up going back there, seeing him. They, do what they do. Or, the guy does him, whatever the case may be. So he got some for his birthday. Oh, we also see once they take him to the place and take the little thing off his head or whatever, we see that it's four people that he know, of course, and one of them is the where the money resides man. So they used his little saying, but they let him in the on the show for a minute, gave him a little cameo. So good for him. Back at the club, we have at the Pank, we have the girls in there. We have Mercedes, Whisper, and Roulette in the, I guess, champagne room practicing. And all of a sudden, you hear the pole moving, like it's no longer attached to the floor, and it's moving like the pendulum, like the necklace was doing. So Whisper is, you know, talking to it, and do you want to ask it something? Just all crazy stuff. It was a whole lot of supernatural. Like they took it to a different level here on this episode, and I'm hoping that this is it. Like, just be done with all of this. All right, so to wrap it up, we have the girls are all performing. They're doing their little dance, their performance. It was supposed to be the three of them, Earth, Wind, and Fire. It ends up that Mercedes starts getting jealous of the fact that the girls are getting all the attention because they're doing all these different flips and everything. So she's trying to outdo them. But of course, she got a hurt shoulder. So she ends up falling. And oh my God. So they ended up taking her to see Diamond. And Uncle Clifford was there. He's like, I rushed here as soon as I heard, or I knew where to take you. And I'm like, Diamond, when did he become? Okay, we just gonna roll with it, y'all. So, long story short, Diamond ends up doing this stuff over her back, and just looking very suspicious, and like he's just some kind of, I don't know. It was just crazy. So he seems like he's doing some sort of exorcism, and she is doing all this huffing and puffing and acting like something is actually coming out of her. It's like a whole exorcism type thing. Come to find out, it's 7 pounds. He picks up something that we can't see. He puts it on the thing on the scale, 7 pounds. He tells her, "Oh, it takes 7 pounds of 7 pounds of strength to pull a trigger." So I guess that was because she shot Autumn's ex-husband. So she starts screaming at Autumn. It's all her fault, all her fault. Tells her to get out. Autumn goes to live, I guess, in her office at the paint. And I'm like, girl, you about to really live in this whole club for right now? All right, sorry, y'all. My baby was leaving. Okay, so she ends up staying in her office and looks really scary. And when she goes out to, I guess, get some more to drink, we can see the cameras, and it looks like, oh my God, the room, the boom boom room, or the old champagne room, or wherever they killed him at, it's haunted now by her ex. And I'm like, oh God, what is going on? Come on, P Valley. We don't need all this. But she comes out. Andre ends up coming in, and he's like, the door was open. She's like, God damn it, Big Al didn't lock the door, whatever. They end up hugging. They don't do anything. They talk, they hug, and in the end, we see Mercedes, not Mercedes, Miss Mississippi, like I said, is going on the road. So that's pretty much where the episode ends. How are you guys enjoying it? I did enjoy this one more than I did the first one. Again, like I said, but I just feel like they doing a lot of stuff. They going to a lot of different places that we don't like. Why we got all these mediums going on and all of these? It's just too much. But and hopefully they just bring it back. Just bring it back to the pank. All right, let's just keep it simple. Stay with what worked, okay? But let me know what you guys think. It wasn't bad though. So like I said, I'm not shitting on it. I just hope they bring it back to where it was. Just make it regular. Let's just take it easy, you know. What was the first one about? She was just stealing money. Her ex was after her. It's just regular stuff. It wasn't all the extra. But if you are still here, you are the real MVP. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Smooches. Oh, I'm supposed to say like, comment, and subscribe. If you are here and you are watching the video, please take a moment out to just hit the like button. I would appreciate it. Thank you very much, sweet babies. Smooches.